Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm, and in this video we are going to create our first JavaScript page that will change depending on button presses. We're going to learn how to use the document.getElementById function to actually create something, make something happen on our page. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come to this website called REPL.it, REPL.it. This is the platform that we're going to use this year for web development. So I'm going to go over here and click sign up, and you can click sign up with your Google account. Now, it may ask you some questions in the beginning, click here, click there, whatever. What programming languages are you interested in, yada, yada, yada. You're going to want to pick HTML because that's what you're going to be using, but then you can pick anything else you want. Okay, so now that I'm here, I want to create a new REPL. I'm signed into my account. REPLs are basically just new programs. So I'm going to create a new REPL that is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. My dog's scratching to get in here. He wants to come wrap himself around my feet, but he tends to get tangled in the cables and he causes problems, so I'm not letting him in. So if you hear him whining, don't feel bad for him. He's a baby. Okay, so this is what our REPL now looks like. First, I want to give it a new name. Slim Lighthearted Browser probably isn't the right name for it. So I'm going to say JavaScript Introduction. Oh, actually, no, let's change it. Let's make it actually what we're going to be doing. Picture Changer. Okay, so it's going to change it to Picture Changer. All right, now over here, you might think, hey, there's a JavaScript.js file. That's what we need, right? No, that's only if we're writing external JavaScript, which we're not going to. Writing the external JavaScript for this project, so we're going to delete that. And we're also going to delete the CSS because we don't need it for this project either. So we're good with just the index.html. Okay. Now, in here, we can get rid of the links to that JavaScript and HTML pages that we no longer need, and I'm going to shrink that so that it's a bit easier to see. Actually, no, I do need the files open. So one thing we need to do is we need to bring in some picture files so that we can change back and forth. So I'm going to do that really quickly. I have this Rebel Alliance symbol and this Imperial seal symbol, and I'm going to use, these are the pictures I'm going to change back and forth between. Okay. Now, because I've drugged them into here, now I can just reference them because they're in the same directory as the index.html file. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is let's put an H1 on my page. Who are you loyal to? Right? There we go. That's not bad. Okay. And then I'm going to want to have, let's do the buttons first. So I'm going to create a button. And I actually want inside this button, I'm going to have an onClick equals, let's do double quotes, document.getElementById. Okay. Now it's important that the get is lowercase, the E is uppercase, B is uppercase, I is uppercase. Okay. And then in here, we're going to say my image. That's going to be the ID that we're getting. And we want to change the source of that image to be equal to, and in this first one is going to be my Rebel symbol. So Rebel symbol.jpg. It's pretty easy there. And then in here, we're going to say join the alliance button. Perfect. So that's one of the buttons. Let's go ahead and run that. Now we have our button. Now notice it doesn't do anything because it's saying, hey, what SRC are we looking at? There's no get element by ID. my image. There's no element that has my image attached to it. So let's go ahead and create one. It's going to be an image file, and we're going to say ID equals my yes, my image. We don't need the hashtag. And src, we'll set that to rebel. Actually, let's set this one to the imperial seal.jpg. And we'll set the style to width will be, say, 200 pixels. Is that it? I think that's it. Okay. Let's go ahead and run. Imperial Seal. Did I spell it? IMPERIALSEAL.jpg. That's weird. I spelled it correctly. Oh. Source equals. There we go. See, I still make mistakes. Happens to the best of us. All right, so we have our, and then if we click this, it changes to the Rebel Alliance. Good. Now all we need is a button over here that allows us to change back to the Empire. So luckily, we already have this button here. Control copy. Control paste. And instead of the rebel symbol here, we can change it to imperial seal.jpg. Okay, so join the alliance. Oh, I also want to change what's inside the join the empire. All right, so join the alliance, join the empire. Beautiful. This is pretty great. So, and that's pretty easy, right? We just did that with basically 3 elements on our page, 4 if you count the header. And that meets all the requirements that we want for the assignment, except we want to put in our comments as well. So, header. Alliance button. Image. That changes. Empire button. So these comments will just help us to figure out exactly what we're looking at. Now, I just realized I did these as JavaScript comments and not HTML comments. So those aren't going to work. Let's actually get rid of those. When we're writing actual JavaScript in our pages, then we'll want to use comments. But for right now, we'll just leave it alone. It's not a requirement for the assignment anyway. Okay. Beautiful. So this works. It looks good. Now, whenever we're done, let me test it out one more time. It's late at night. So now that we're done, all we have to do to turn this in is come over here, click the 3 dots, and click this Download as Zip button. And it will create a zip folder that has our pictures and our index file in it. So this whole zip folder you can turn in on Canvas for credit with this assignment. Now make your picture something different than mine. You know, make up something interesting that you like. And then also add some more buttons to the page just to play around with what you can do in JavaScript. Try to add a button that changes the background color of the page. Try to add a button that adds text. Try to add a button that removes text. Just put as many buttons on the page as you can and just kind of play around with what they might do. Okay, well, this was an easy and quick assignment, even with me making a couple of mistakes, but that's okay. It's late at night. I'm going to head off to bed, and I will see you next week. Bye.